My name is Emmanuel Gatz. I'm from a company called Shared Service Architects, and we're working very closely with Christine Doubleday from the 157 Group. We're going to do a presentation for you today around new models of collaboration, delivery, and shared services. And we're hoping this is going to be quite an interactive session, so we want some very difficult questions, and we want you to kind of learn from one another on the table. So my first question to you before we start the process is, how many of you know that your college is actively involved in exploring a shared service with another college? A quick hand up. Wow. So look, for you, if you've got your hand up, one of the exercises we're going to ask you to do is use one of the tools in our toolkit. And for you, it's tool 10, which is this one here. Okay? So if you put your hand up, try and grab one of the tools. I may have enough for you. For those of you that didn't put your hand up, I assume that you're actually not currently exploring a shared service opportunity with another college, but because you're in the room, it's something that may be of interest to you. Is that fair?
Just to clarify, when you say what about
oh, sorry, yes. Colleges, academies, universities, councils, anything in a sense that you want to kind of collaborate. Public to public mostly. Okay. So that's really helpful. Let me just introduce you to the objectives of today. I think you saw those in the invitation. Hopefully we're going to cover those four things in this session today. Okay, we're going to cover the external drivers of change, some of the emerging, most common strategies being adopted by colleges. We're going to cover what role does the governors play in shaping that agenda. And then finally, just begin to unpick some of these emerging new models of delivery that are beginning to find their way into the sector. Just a little bit about us. Shared Service Architects, what we do is we're a teaching and research company. So we teach the skills of collaboration and sharing. We basically focused on the role of the person that leads the project, so the project manager in the collaboration. We call them a shared service architect. We teach the skills, we teach those individuals with the skills and knowledge to do that effectively. We provide a pathway to a formal qualification, so we also lecture at the university, Canterbury Christchurch University. And we offer the first postgraduate qualification shared services. We offer accreditation, mentoring, independent facilitation, and we work at an individual level, so the person that wants to equip themselves with the skills. We work at an organisational level, helping organisations get share ready, and we work at partnership levels where partners have come together and say, actually, we want to share, but we want to accelerate that programme.
Can I just say what 157 is?
Please do.
157 Group, as you probably know, is the 27 large colleges in England. And we set out a common prospectus with AOC last summer to support shared services and collaboration projects. Bids came in, we jointly assessed them with AOC, and 157 Group is supporting financially 4 of those. So North East Shared Service Partnership, which is led by Sunderland, a one-stop shop, which is about a collaborative platform for temporary staffing and for job outcomes, and that's been led by Oaklands. Sussex and Surrey colleges is a pretty traditional shared service back office functions with a new joint venture company, as is the Sunderland one is a joint venture company. And then Highbury is leading a very big programme with about 20 colleges looking at sharing and collaboration using new technology. And while 157 is supporting these projects, they're not all 157 colleges, so the idea is that we're doing it for the sector. We're particularly interested in the learning from it, which is why we're working very closely with Manny on it. And we're also just about to launch a few projects with the third and adult sectors, looking at shared services and collaboration between third sector, adult sector, and those sectors and the college sector.
Brilliant. So our role really is about building the capacity within the sector to lead on this stuff. and to reduce your exposure really to external consultants and others who can really do it for you. Okay? So let's start with some basics. You know, what is a shared service, where, why, and so forth. These are the four, we talked about the four strategies, most common strategies being adopted by most public sector organisations. You know, strategies are probably the same as local authorities in this respect. Strategy number one is tough it out. Okay, so just stop doing things, make cuts, try and lean your processes, all that sort of stuff. And I suspect there isn't a college in this room that isn't operating some sort of plan to tough it out. Second strategy is to outsource. That is to find a functional process and offer it to a third party to deliver it at a lower cost. The third strategy is to sell your services. That's insourcing. Very popular as a strategy, very few people buying it. It's a bit like going to a car boot sale where everybody's put their offer out in front of their car, but actually nobody's actually walking up and down because they've all got their own car and they're sitting behind their own offer. And real issues around trust. You know, do I really want to give my HR function to somebody else to run who potentially could be a competitor with me? And finally, the option is to share. And our definition of share is to share provision by more than one organisation of a specific service or function. So it's co-own, co-deliver. That's sharing. Okay. It can be sovereign or federal. That's PwC's definition. A sovereign shared service is that if you've got a large organisation and you want to consolidate your corporate services into one function, then that's an in-house sharing and that's seen as a sovereign shared service. So in local authority terms, the county councils, you know, £500 million turnover businesses, are doing a lot of sovereign shared services, consolidating within. The district councils, the smaller councils, and colleges are beginning to explore federal shared services, and that's sharing between colleges. It can be front office and back office. It starts in a really safe space. I suspect a number of you are sharing procurement by bundling up your purchasing power. It then kind of edges then into back office transactional payroll stuff. It then edges forward into back office strategic, sharing managers, sharing principles and so forth. It then edges into front office delivery, curriculum design, managing teacher provision and so forth. And ultimately, it could lead to alignment of goals. Incidentally, the nearer you get to front office sharing, the bigger the savings are, because your back office savings, your back office function only equates to about 15% of your total cost of your business. And even if you save 50% of it, you'll only be saving 7.5% of your total figure that you've got to achieve. And I suspect the number that you're aiming for is probably in the region of around 20–25% over a 4-year period, because that's the level of cuts that are on the horizon. And the final thing is we are shifting from this compete to spend mentality. Over the last 15 years, we've been chasing the pound, writing bids, securing more money and so forth, into a new world where the language is around collaborating to save or collaborating to improve value. And finally, this little thing at the bottom is the Cabinet Office's route to a shared service. They call it the Shared Service Journey Map. And it has a number of obvious stages. You start with a shared vision. Once you've got a mandate, you create a business case around that mandate. If that business case stands up, you go from a business specification to a service specification, and you design the new service. And then you're into the classic organisational transformation space. All the research says that we don't start here. We don't start with a shared vision. We start by commissioning a business case and then try to force fit that against our organisations. Hence the reason why the majority of shared service business cases are still on the shelf and with no mandate to commit, because actually partners didn't actually have a shared vision in the first place. Anybody recognise that gentleman? Somebody tell me who it is, please.
My boss.
It's your boss? I recognise my boss. Please share the name of your boss with the wider group so if they don't know him.
It's Gaetano Smith, who's the principal of Kingston College and he's the principal of Carshalton College in the federated arrangement we now have.
He is the very first shared principal in the FE sector. This map shows the locations of where colleges have identified they are actually sharing or exploring the sharing of services with one another. As you can see, there's been quite an explosion of investigations certainly around opportunities to share. This is driven from the Efficiency and Innovation Fund, which the AOC funded a number of colleges to do. 190 colleges participated in that. So it's beginning to edge its way into your world. Oh, incidentally, just to go back to that map, if we were to show this map of this map for local government, 9 out of 10 local government councils are now actively exploring shared services, and 25% of the councils are now looking to share a chief executive. So, in a sense, you're behind the curveball, and the reason for that is that their cuts are front-loaded. They're getting 13% cuts last year. They've got 11% cuts this year. So they're having to make the changes. Their burning platform is more acute than yours.
Manny, can I just say that the map that we're collating is very much work in progress, and it's only done, it's a kind of desk research at the moment. So we know what we know, but we don't know what we don't know. So if any of you don't see yourself there, then do please get in touch with either Manny or myself, and we'll make sure that you're on the map if you want to be on the map.
This stuff you know. Probably the reasons why you're in this room is that there are a whole series of reasons that are driving colleges to consider collaborating and sharing. So I'm not going to repeat these. But the interesting stuff, I think, is down here, is that there was a KPMG report that was done at the kind of fag end time of the Learning and Skills Agency's remit. And it talked about 100 vulnerable colleges. And given the nature of the funding changes that we've got, that position is probably not changing. In fact, it's probably got worse. So colleges are looking to ways to collaborate and say to achieve efficiency improvement. So, why is sharing so difficult? This is a picture of last week. This front cover is a picture of last week's Housing Today. Anybody live in Hertfordshire? Okay. Do you recognise this?
No.
No. Well, Hertfordshire Borough Council have decided that they want 15,000 houses built in North Hertfordshire District Council. So there's a complete fallout between two partners. And they've been trying to share services in the background of this problem. And the Housing Today just put this picture up and showed them shooting each other across a fence, which I thought was a really fantastic kind of snapshot of what partnership working can be like, where you don't have a shared vision. So that's real life. So what I like to do on your tables is just have a quick 1-minute conversation.